Hello and welcome to Karl's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making some delicious navy bean and ham shank soup. We know we like this soup because just a few days ago on Halloween we had this at the Brider's house for their Halloween party. So the most basic ingredient we need is some navy beans. Now we're feeding a family of 4 and we want enough food for several meals. So we are not just using 16 ounces, we're going to use 2 16-ounce bags. Now I've already put one bag in my crock pot. And I'm going to go ahead and fill it with a second one. We are using a recipe we found on the internet at allrecipes.com. And the first instructions are to put the navy beans in cold water. You want to cover them with about 2 inches of water. After it's filled with water, we're going to bring it to a boil, then turn it down to a simmer and let it cook for about an hour. At that point, we'll move on to the next stage of the recipe. So that looks like about 2 inches of water. We'll call that good. We're going to set it in the crock pot. You can zoom in, see the 2 inches of water. I'm going to put the crock pot on auto shift. That way it will start on a high setting, bring it to a boil, and go down to a simmer. So at this point I'm going to take a little break and take the dogs for a run while this gets boiling, simmers, and I'll be back in an hour to show you the rest. Thank you. Okay, in this portion, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the ham shanks cooking because I find the longer I simmer them, the more tender they are and the more flavor they put in the water. So the recipe calls for 8 cups of water, but I'm doubling the recipe. So I'm going to use my 4-cup measure 4 times to put 16 cups of water into the pan. So we've got 4 cups in already. Here we go, we've got almost another 4. And rather than stand here and hold this while it fills up, what I'm going to do is transfer this one into the kettle. I'll cut the back end to fill by itself, and I want to show you what I'm using for ham shanks. I went to our local store, Shoppers Corner, one of the best meat markets I know of, and I got 3.9 pounds of ham shanks. So we're going for pretty close to 4 pounds of ham shanks. Here comes our 12 cups of water. While that goes, we'll rip open the package. Now one thing I had the butcher do was cut the ham shanks up into slices so they would break up into smaller pieces. I'm just going to transfer that straight into the water. Then we'll take our final 12 cups of water, add it to the mix, and I'm really glad I got my biggest soup kettle out because as you can see that's a lot of soup there and we have not even added the beans yet. So we'll go ahead and put this on the back burner of the stove because we want to simmer it at a low temperature for as long as possible. And I'm going to get my lid, put that on top to keep anything undesirable from falling in and also help hold in the heat. So once this comes to a boil, I'll turn it down to simmer and let it cook on a slow heat for the rest of the day. But come on back in a little bit and I'll show you how we add the beans and the rest of the seasoning. Thank you. Oh, hi, welcome back. Right now, I'm just doing some prep cooking. I'm cutting up 2 onions, and it says 1 carrot, but remember I doubled the batch and my carrots are small, so I'll be chopping up 3 carrots to put in the soup. Right now, I'm cutting up the last portion of my 2nd onion. It said to cut it into coarse chunks, so I'm trying to do exactly that. Adding them to my large 4-cup measure to handle them easily. I'm going to go ahead and cut up the carrots now. So, apparently there's nothing special about this part. Just cut into good-sized chunks, but not too big to get in your mouth. And what's happened while we've been waiting is we brought the beans to a boil. We let them simmer for an hour. And we've also been cooking the ham shanks, giving them a chance to slow cook. What we're going to do in a minute is we're going to drain the beans and we're going to add the beans, the carrots, and the onions to the ham shanks, and then we'll let it continue simmering for some time. Now the recipe does call for some salt and pepper, but those ham shanks tend to be so well seasoned in the smoking process that I really don't think there's any need to add salt and pepper unless we taste it later and realize we need to add some flavor to it. Okay, hopefully I can contain all these little bits and pieces of carrot. Had a couple of strays that got away from me. So these are ready to go in the ham shanks. I'm going to go ahead and do that transfer right now. We'll go over to the stove. You might want to zoom in on our steaming hot ham shanks. They still have a ways to go, but that's good because we want them to impart their flavor into the onions, carrots, and beans. So now let's grab something to hold on to this hot crock full of beans. I'm going to take my colander to contain them as I drain out the water. So we pick up the crock pot, and careful because this is very hot, we're going to drain them into the colander. Oh boy, those beans are going to be good. I didn't get them, quite all of them, but that's okay. I'll come back and get them in a minute. Shake out the water. Don't want to make a mess in the kitchen. Now I'm going to quickly transfer these over to the soup kettle. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Beautiful. We've got a few more left in the crock pot to shake out. We'll shake those in. And at this point, I'll give it a quick stir and we'll return this to simmering. And we've really got the basics done. As you can see, those ham shanks are still pretty solid. They need to cook another couple of hours till the meat just falls right off the bone. You can see it's shrunk back pretty well. So I'm going to take a break, go out and play with my family, and we'll see you in a little bit as we move on to the next stage of making tonight's navy bean soup. Thank you. Oh, hello. Good timing. I'm just checking on the soup. At this point, I need to take out about 3 cups. Well, actually, I'm doing a double batch, so I need to take out about 6 cups of the beans and run them through the blender to make it a little more of a pureed soup. I don't think it hurts if I get a little bit of carrots in with it. It's always a good thing. So we're getting up there. That's about 2.5 cups. There's some more. Well, we'll go ahead and get a full 4 cups. How's that? Closer. There's a nice piece of ham. Okay, we need to add a little bit of liquid to make it blend up easier. And I did take a sample of the soup and it's got a really nice flavor. Originally I was worried I might not have put enough ham in to get that flavor. So we're going to transfer this into the blender. And let's see what happens when we blend this up. Here we go. It's going to get loud, so brace yourselves. Sounds like I left a piece of bone in there, but I think we blended it up enough that everything should be fine. So this should thicken the broth up nicely. That should be very good. Okay, at this point, I'm going to let the soup cook for another few minutes and we'll be sitting down to dinner before too long. Thanks for checking in. All right, so in the last few minutes while we weren't filming, I actually did go through and scoop out about another 3 or 4 cups of beans, which I ran through the blender. And I also took all the meat out of the mix. I'm planning on cutting this up into smaller bite-sized pieces. And I also took the opportunity to remove some of the bones. It's a pretty simple process, but it's not very interesting to watch on camera. I think you can figure that out on your own. So at this point, we're going to take some of the meat, put it on our cutting board, and we will go ahead and just cut it up into smaller pieces so nobody gets an unexpectedly big chunk of meat. Good enough for that batch. I'll slide that into the pan. Watch the splash. Okay, we'll chop in some more. There we go, last bit of meat. And all set. What I'm going to do is put this in a pan. I'm going to bring it up to boil one last time just to spread around all the flavors. And we'll be sitting down to eat probably in about 5 minutes. So before you sign off with the camera, let's take a quick look and see what it looks like stirred up. So the broth has a much creamier consistency after having blended those beans, but it looks good enough for dinner. So we'll see you in a few minutes when we serve it up. Okay, we're coming down the home stretch here. We're just about to serve up a bowl of the soup. So I think it looks pretty darn good. Let me sum up what we did today. So we took 2 pounds of navy beans, we took 4 pounds of ham hocks, 2 onions, and 3 carrots. And basically we just let it cook for the afternoon. And it looks like we have a delicious bowl of soup here to eat for dinner. So I hope you all try my recipe and have as good a luck as I did. Thanks for watching.